Welcome to Coconut Tail channel.
My wife texted me at 4 a.m. Something came up. Relax. I'll explain soon. I replied, no need to explain. Stay with him. You're single now. 20 minutes later, she was frantically ringing the doorbell, crying. It was 4 in the morning when my phone vibrated. I was not sleeping anyway. Work had been demanding lately, and my mind was still running through tomorrow's big presentation. But when I saw her name on the screen, everything else stopped. Something came up. Relax. Explain. I stared at the message for a full minute. My wife, the woman who triple-checks every text before sending it and gets annoyed when I use the wrong form of your, had just sent me a typo-ridden message. At 4 in the morning, from a place she was not supposed to be. She was supposed to be at her sister's house. Girls' night, she had said. Wine and catching up. Back tomorrow morning. That was the plan. It was always the plan lately. I sat up in bed, looking at those words. Something came up. At 4 in the morning. Relax, as if I was just supposed to shrug and go back to sleep. But here's the thing. I was not surprised. Disappointed, maybe. Angry, definitely. But not surprised. The signs had been there for weeks. The extra attention to her appearance when she went out with friends. The phone always placed face down on the table now. The way she got defensive when I asked simple questions about her nights out. How she suddenly had so many emergencies with girlfriends who apparently could not handle basic adult problems without her immediate presence. I thought about calling her sister just to check. But why? I already knew what I would find. Instead, I texted back. No need to explain. Stay with him. You are single now. I hit send before I could second-guess myself. Because that is what this was. Not an emergency with a friend. A guy she had been sneaking around with, thinking I was too dumb or too trusting to notice. My phone started vibrating immediately. Call after call. I declined every one and silenced the ringer. 20 minutes later, I heard tires screech in our driveway, then frantic knocking, then the doorbell. Over and over. I silenced that too. I took my time getting up. I pulled on a t-shirt. I walked slowly to the front door. Through the peephole, I could see her standing there, still in the dress she had worn to her sister's. Hair a mess, makeup streaked, looking like she had been crying the entire drive home. Honey, please open the door. Her voice was shaky, desperate. I can explain everything. I unlocked the door but kept the chain on, opening it just enough to see her face clearly. It is 4:30 in the morning, I said calmly. Funny, you finding the time to come home now. Baby, please, you do not understand. I understand perfectly. I kept my voice steady. You were supposed to be at your sister's. You were not. You texted me at 4 in the morning saying something came up, and now you are here looking like you just left a place you should not have been. She pressed her face closer to the crack in the door. It is not what you think. Then what is it? Because from my point of view, it looks like you got caught. Tears were flowing freely now. I was helping a friend. There was an emergency. At 4 in the morning? Yes. What kind of emergency? She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything. She needed someone to talk to. Her boyfriend broke up with her. And which friend was this? Another pause. Jenna. Jenna moved to Denver 6 months ago. Her face went white. I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I just stood there, watching her scramble for another lie. I meant Courtney. Courtney needed help. With what exactly? She was having a panic attack. And at 4 in the morning, Courtney called you instead of 911, instead of her family, instead of any of the other friends she has known longer than you? She was crying harder now. Please, just let me in. Let me explain properly. You have had 25 minutes to think of an explanation. That is the best you could come up with. I could see the neighbors' lights starting to come on. Good. Let them see exactly what kind of person she had chosen to be. I am telling the truth. No, you are not, and we both know it. I started to close the door, but she pushed against it. Where are you going to go? I asked. Back to where you came from? Or are you finally ready to be honest? She just kept crying, begging me to let her in. But I had already made my decision the moment I sent that text. Some choices cannot be unmade, and some people show you exactly who they are when they think no one is watching. My wife had just shown me everything I needed to know. She was not giving up. If anything, her desperation was getting worse. Please, I am begging you. Just 5 minutes to explain. I looked at her through the crack in the door, still in that black dress I had complimented when she left last night. The heels she claimed were comfortable enough for a casual night with my sister. Sure, 5 minutes, I said. Right here on the porch. Start talking. Cannot we do this inside? The neighbors. The neighbors are already awake, thanks to your dramatic entrance. Besides, you did not seem too concerned about privacy when you were texting me at 4 in the morning. She wiped her face with the back of her hand, smearing her mascara even more. Okay. Courtney called me around 1 in the morning. She was having a breakdown about her job. Stop. I held up a hand. Courtney works the night shift at the hospital. She has been on nights for 2 years. Why would she be having a breakdown about her job at 1 in the morning, when that is literally when her shift starts? Her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Also, I continued, Courtney has been dating that paramedic for 8 months now. Pretty serious. So when exactly did this mysterious boyfriend breakup happen? The one you mentioned 30 seconds ago. I got confused. You meant you needed time to invent a better story. She sagged against the doorframe. You are not even trying to believe me. I am trying to figure out how someone with your intelligence thought I would believe any of this. I kept my tone conversational, almost friendly. I mean, you could have at least picked a friend whose work schedule I do not know, or checked her social media to see if she had actually broken up with someone recently. I was not thinking clearly. No, you were not. But that happened hours ago, not 20 minutes ago when you were cobbling together that explanation. A car drove past slowly, probably our neighbor from 2 houses down on his way to an early morning shift. He gave us a long look. I waved. This is humiliating, she whispered. Really? I had not noticed. She looked at me with those eyes that used to make me forget anything I was ever mad about. Used to. I know what this looks like, but I swear. What does it look like? You tell me. What does this look like from my perspective? She was silent for a moment. Like I was unfaithful. Exactly. Like you were unfaithful. Because you were. I was not. Then where were you? I told you with Courtney. Whose number you are going to give me right now, so I can call and confirm your story. Panic flashed across her face. She is probably asleep. She was awake enough for a crisis at 1 in the morning. I am sure she will not mind a follow-up call. I do not have her number memorized. I almost laughed out loud. You do not have Courtney's number memorized? Courtney, who you have known since college. Courtney, who was in our wedding party. She started crying again, but it felt different now. Less panicked, more defeated. Where is your car? I asked, looking past her toward the driveway. What? Your car. You drove to your sister's yesterday. Where is your car? She turned to look at her Toyota Camry parked in the driveway. It is right there. Interesting, because that car has been here all night. Her face went completely blank. I got up around midnight for a drink of water. Looked out the kitchen window. Your car was here. I figured you took an Uber to avoid drinking and driving. A responsible choice, I thought. She was trembling now. So, if your car was here, and you were supposedly at your sister's across town, how exactly did you get there and back? Did Courtney's crisis involve picking you up and dropping you off? Because that seems like a lot of back and forth for someone in the middle of a breakdown. I can explain. I am sure you can. You are very creative. But here is the thing. I already called your sister. The blood drained from her face completely. I called her about 20 minutes ago, right after your touching performance on the porch started, actually. Woke her up. She was very confused as to why I was asking if you were there, seeing as how she has not seen you in 3 weeks. She sat down hard on the porch step. She also mentioned you canceled your plans with her yesterday morning. Something important came up. Funny how things just keep coming up for you lately. I crouched down, so we were on the same level. So let us try this again. Where were you? And this time, maybe try the truth. It is actually easier to remember than the lies. She was sobbing now, but I felt nothing. No desire to comfort her. No guilt for being harsh. Just a curiosity to see if she would finally be honest. She started, then stopped. Yes. I cannot. Cannot what? Cannot tell the truth, or cannot face the consequences. She looked at me, and I saw something I had never seen before. Fear. Not of me, but of losing everything she had risked by making the choices she made. If I tell you the truth, she whispered, you will never forgive me. If you do not tell me the truth, there is nothing to forgive, because this conversation ends here, and you can spend the night wherever you spent the last 4 hours. She took a shaky breath. I was with someone. There it was. Finally. I was with someone. I stood up slowly, dusting off my knees. There. See how much simpler the truth is. She was still sitting on the step, looking like her world had just collapsed. Which, to be fair, it had. It is not what you think. Let me guess. It just happened. You did not plan it. You were vulnerable. He was there. One thing led to another. I counted them off on my fingers. Did I miss any of the classics? She stared at me. How can you be so calm about this? Because I am not surprised. I told you that already. What do you mean, not surprised? I leaned against the doorframe. The late nights started getting more frequent about 2 months ago. The phone face down on the table became standard 3 weeks ago. The new workout routine started last month. Very dedicated, by the way. I was impressed. Her jaw went slightly slack. Oh, and the sudden interest in clothes shopping. For someone who used to buy everything online, you started enjoying long trips to the mall on Saturdays. Always coming home with bags from stores I had never heard of. You were spying on me? I was married to you. I noticed things. Like how you started doing your hair differently on certain days. Or how you would shower the second you got home from those mysterious errands. Or how you suddenly needed to charge your phone in the other room instead of on your nightstand. She was crying silently now. The funniest part was how you started picking fights with me over nothing. Almost like you were trying to justify something to yourself. That is not true. Remember 2 weeks ago, you got mad because I loaded the dishwasher wrong? We had a full-blown argument about it. You stormed out to clear your head and did not come back until after midnight. She nodded miserably. That was the night I knew for sure. Because in 8 years of marriage, you have never once cared how I load the dishwasher. But you needed a reason to leave the house angry, did not you? I am sorry. For which part? The betrayal, the lying, or getting caught? She did not answer. So who is he? Does it matter? It matters to me. I would like to know who my wife chose over our marriage. She took a shaky breath. Derek. Derek Lawson from work. I laughed. I actually laughed. Derek? Derek Lawson? The guy from accounting who wears the cheap suits and thinks he is God's gift to women. Do not do that. No, it is perfect. It is absolutely perfect. I was still chuckling. Derek. The same Derek who hit on Courtney at the company Christmas party while his girlfriend was in the bathroom. It is not about him. Oh, but it is. Because you did not just betray me. You betrayed our marriage with Derek Lawson. Do you know what that tells me? About how little you valued what we had. She flinched as if I had slapped her. I mean, if you are going to blow up your marriage, at least pick someone impressive. Someone who makes me think. Well, I can see why she would risk it all for him. You are being cruel. I am being honest. There is a difference. I pulled my phone out of my pocket. Speaking of honesty, I should probably call Derek's girlfriend. What is her name again? Tara. She should know what her boyfriend was up to tonight. No, please do not. Why not? She has a right to know, just like I did. Because it will ruin everything. Everything is already ruined. You ruined it when you made your choice. She stood up abruptly. It was one time. Tonight was one time. How many other times were there? This is the only time, I swear. How long have you been seeing him? She looked away. How long? 6 weeks. 6 weeks of what exactly? Flirting? Texts? Coffee dates? Or 6 weeks leading up to tonight? Tonight was the first time we actually crossed that line. She nodded, not looking me in the eye. But you have been emotionally unfaithful for 6 weeks. It was not supposed to happen like this. How was it supposed to happen? Explain your plan to me. Were you going to leave me for Derek? Or just keep sneaking around indefinitely? I do not know. I was not thinking. You were not thinking for 6 weeks. That is a lot of not thinking. My phone buzzed. A text. I glanced at it. Interesting. That is my lawyer, texting back. Apparently, some people do good work at 4 in the morning. Her eyes widened. Your lawyer? Called him right after I called your sister. Left a voicemail. He is an early riser, apparently. You called your lawyer before you even talked to me? I called my lawyer after you texted me at 4 in the morning because I knew exactly what that text meant, and I knew exactly what I needed to do about it. But what if you were wrong? What if it really was an emergency? Then you would have answered my first call. Or the second. Or the third. She sank back down onto the step, looking defeated. The lawyer wants to meet this morning. 9 o'clock. I should probably get some sleep before then. Wait. You cannot just we need to talk about this. We are talking. You were unfaithful. You lied about it. You got caught. What else is there to discuss? What we are going to do now. I know what I am going to do. I am going to file for divorce. Just like that. Just like that. She started to cry harder. What about couples therapy? What about trying to work through this? What is there to work through? You chose Derek over me. Tonight, you chose him again by lying about it. Every choice you have made for 6 weeks has been against our marriage. People make mistakes. This was not a mistake. This was a series of deliberate decisions. And now I am making mine. I turned to go back inside. Where am I supposed to go? I would suggest Derek's place, since that is where you seem to want to be anyway. He lives with Tara. Then I guess you both have some explaining to do. I closed the door and locked it. I made it about 10 feet into the house before she started pounding on the door again. Please, I have nowhere to go. I ignored her and started a pot of coffee. If I was going to meet a lawyer in a few hours, I might as well be alert for it. The pounding got more frantic. Then I heard her on her phone, then more crying, then her phone again. I was pouring my first cup when she started yelling through the door. He is not answering. Derek is not answering his phone. I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. His girlfriend probably found out. I called back. Funny how that works. This is insane. You are being completely unreasonable. I opened the door again, coffee cup in hand. She was a wreck. Streaked face, disheveled hair, that dress now wrinkled from sitting on the concrete steps. Unreasonable? Let me see if I have this straight. You betrayed our marriage for 6 weeks. You lied to my face repeatedly. You sneaked around behind my back. And when you get caught, I am the one who is being unreasonable. It did not mean anything. If it did not mean anything, why did you do it? I do not know. That is not an answer. She pressed her hands to her face. I felt like we were just roommates. Like the spark was gone. So instead of talking to me about it, you decided to go find your spark with Derek Lawson? It was not supposed to be Derek, specifically. It just happened. Nothing just happens. You made choices. Every day for 6 weeks, you chose to text him instead of me. You chose to lie to me about where you were going. You chose to get dressed up for him. You chose to sneak around. I know, and I am sorry. Sorry you did it, or sorry you got caught. She was silent. Because if you are just sorry you got caught, then this conversation is pointless. I am sorry I did it. Are you? Because an hour ago, you were still lying about it. I was scared. Of what? Of this. Of me hating you? Of losing everything. I took a sip of my coffee. You should have thought about that 6 weeks ago. Cannot we try to fix this? People work through situations like this all the time. Some do. But those people are usually dealing with spouses who come clean immediately, show genuine remorse, and are willing to do whatever it takes to rebuild trust. I will do whatever it takes. Will you? Because 10 minutes ago you were still protecting Derek by begging me not to call his girlfriend. She looked stricken. That is not the behavior of someone who is truly sorry. That is someone who is sorry they got caught and wants to minimize the damage for everyone except their betrayed husband. My phone started ringing. I looked at the screen. It is my mother-in-law, I said. Interesting. It is 5 in the morning and she is calling me. I wonder how she heard about tonight's situation. I answered the call on speaker. Hello, Linda. What is going on? Amanda just called me crying, saying you locked her out. I looked at my wife, Amanda, who had the decency to look embarrassed. Hi, Mom, Amanda said faintly. Amanda, what happened? He said you two are getting a divorce. Linda, I said calmly. Did Amanda tell you why I locked her out? She said you had a fight. Did she tell you where she was at 4 in the morning this morning? Silence on the other end. Did she mention she has been having an inappropriate relationship for 6 weeks? Amanda, is that true? Amanda started crying again. I will take that as a yes, Linda said softly. Amanda Marie, what have you done? It was a mistake, Mom. A 6-week mistake, I added. With a coworker. Lying to me about girls' nights and visits to her sister. Oh, honey. Linda's voice was heavy with disappointment. Your father and I raised you better than that. Mom, please, you have to help me fix this. Fix it. Amanda, you broke your marriage. You cannot just fix a betrayal like it is a broken vase. I found myself respecting my mother-in-law more in that moment than I had in years. Linda, I said, I am meeting with a lawyer this morning. I wanted you to know that this decision is not being made in anger. It is being made because trust, once broken like this, cannot be repaired. I understand, she said sadly. I am so sorry this is happening to you. Thank you. Amanda, you get home right now. Your father and I need to talk to you. After she hung up, Amanda looked at me with desperate eyes. My own mother is disappointed in me. She should be. This could have stayed between us. We could have worked through it privately. That is what you wanted? To sweep this under the rug. I wanted a chance to fix it. You had chances. Every day for 6 weeks, you had a chance to make a different choice. Every time you lied to me, you had a chance to tell the truth instead. But people can change. People can learn from their mistakes. I finished my coffee and set the mug down. You are not wrong. People can change. But you know what? I have changed, too. I have learned that I deserve better than someone who needs to betray me to figure out what they want. So that is it. 8 years of marriage, and you are just throwing it all away. I am not throwing anything away. You already threw it away when you chose Derek. Her phone started ringing again. She looked at it, and her face fell. It is my sister. Mom must have called her. Answer it. I cannot face her right now. You are going to have to face everyone eventually. Your choices do not just affect us. The ringing stopped, then started again. Answer the phone, Amanda. She did, reluctantly. Hi, Allie. I could hear her sister's voice through the phone, angry and disappointed. Are you insane? Are you completely out of your mind? Amanda just cried. 8 years, Amanda. 8 years with a good man. And you throw it all away for what? Some office situation. It is not that simple. It is exactly that simple. You were unfaithful. You lied. And now you are surprised there are consequences. I walked over and gently took the phone from her. Hey, Allie. I am so sorry, she said immediately. I am embarrassed to be related to her right now. Thanks for saying that. Are you okay? I will be. You deserve better than this. I handed the phone back to Amanda, who was sobbing. Allie, please. No. You made your choices. Now you have to live with them. And do not expect any sympathy from me. The line went dead. Amanda looked up at me, mascara running down her face. Everyone is going to hate me. Probably. How can you be so cold about this? I am not cold. I am just tired of being the only one fighting for our marriage. She sat on the step, looking utterly defeated, and for the first time all night, I felt a tiny pang of pity for her, but not enough to change my mind. By 6 in the morning, I had showered, dressed, and was reviewing documents for my meeting with the lawyer when 3 cars pulled into my driveway. Amanda's parents, her sister Allie and brother-in-law Chris, and her uncle Frank, who apparently felt qualified to mediate family crises despite his 2 divorces. Through the window, I watched them have a heated discussion with Amanda on the front lawn. Linda was clearly furious, pointing and gesturing while Amanda cried. Frank was trying to play peacemaker. Allie looked like she wanted to strangle her sister. Finally, they approached the door. I opened it before they could knock. Morning, everyone. We need to talk, Frank announced, as if he were in charge of something. Actually, we do not. But I am willing to listen for a few minutes before I leave for my appointment. Linda stepped forward. Can we come inside? This does not need to be a public spectacle. I glanced at Amanda, still in that wrinkled dress, standing behind everyone like a scolded child. 5 minutes, I said, opening the door wider. They filed into my living room. Amanda sat on the couch she had helped me pick out 3 years ago. Everyone else remained standing, except for Linda, who took the armchair opposite her daughter. Listen, Frank began. Marriages go through rough patches. This is not the end of the world. Is not it? I asked. Because from where I am standing, my wife chose another man over me for 6 weeks. That seems pretty final. People make mistakes. Uncle Frank, I interrupted. Did not you cheat on Aunt Carol? And then your second wife? His face flushed. That is not relevant. Actually, it is completely relevant. You are asking me to take advice from someone who has been in Amanda's shoes twice. Allie spoke up. He is right, Uncle Frank. Stay out of this. Allie, her mother warned. No, Mom. Amanda screwed up badly, and now she has to live with the consequences. But they love each other, Frank protested. I almost laughed. Love, Frank. If Amanda loved me, she would not have spent 6 weeks sneaking around with Derek Lawson. Who is Derek Lawson? Chris asked. The guy she has been involved with. Jesus, Amanda, Chris muttered. Linda looked mortified. In our day, couples worked through these things. In your day, Linda, women did not have as many options to leave bad marriages, and men were not expected to put up with disrespect just to keep the peace. But you are throwing away 8 years. I am not throwing anything away. Amanda already did. Amanda finally spoke. I made a terrible mistake. But it is over now. It is completely over. Is it? I asked. Because 2 hours ago you were still protecting Derek by begging me not to call his girlfriend. I was scared. Scared of what? Facing the consequences of your choices. Frank tried again. Look, you are both upset right now. Maybe you should take some time apart. Let emotions cool down. We are taking time apart. It is called a divorce. But that is so permanent, Linda said. So is breaking your marriage vows. Allie nodded in agreement. Chris was just staring at Amanda like he had never seen her before. What, exactly, do you all want from me? I asked. For me to pretend this did not happen? To act like 6 weeks of lies and betrayal was just a rough patch? We want you to consider forgiveness, Linda said softly. I have considered it. I forgive Amanda. But forgiveness does not mean I have to stay married to someone who betrayed me. That is not how marriage works, Frank declared. Actually, Frank, that is exactly how marriage works. When one person breaks the fundamental agreement of trust and faithfulness, the other person gets to decide if they stay or go. I will do anything, Amanda pleaded again. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. Amanda, what I want is a wife who does not betray me. That ship has sailed. People can change. Maybe, but I do not have to stick around to find out. Linda stood up. You are being awfully cold about this. Am I? Let me ask you something, Linda. If your neighbor came to you and said her husband was being unfaithful for weeks, lying, sneaking around behind her back, what would you tell her to do? She was silent. You would tell her she deserves better, would not you? You would tell her not to put up with that kind of treatment. That is different. How? Because you are family? No, Linda. Amanda is family. I am the guy she chose to betray. Allie stood up abruptly. This is ridiculous. Amanda, you screwed up. You lied. You were unfaithful. You got caught. Stop asking everyone else to clean up your mess. Allie. No, Amanda. I am embarrassed for you right now. This man has been nothing but good to you for 8 years, and you repay him by sneaking around with some guy from work. Derek is not a loser. The words were out of her mouth before she could stop them. The room went completely silent. Chris started to laugh. Actually laugh. Did she just defend the guy she was involved with? In front of her husband? Amanda's face went white. I did not mean. You did mean it, I said calmly. And thank you for that. Because it proves everything I have been saying. Linda looked devastated. Amanda, how could you? He is not a bad person. Neither am I pointed out. But that did not stop you from betraying me. Allie was shaking her head. I cannot even look at you right now. Frank made one last attempt. Look, emotions are running high. Why do not we all just take a step back? Frank, I said firmly. I am meeting my lawyer in 2 hours. Amanda can stay with you or her parents or wherever she wants, but she is not staying here. You cannot just throw her out. Actually, I can. This house is in my name. The mortgage is in my name. She has no legal right to be here if I do not want her to be. Amanda looked shocked. The house is only in your name? We bought it before we were married. You never wanted to deal with the paperwork to add your name to the deed. Remember? She remembered. I could see it in her eyes. So what now? Linda asked sadly. Now, Amanda packs a bag and goes home with you. I file for divorce. We divide up 8 years of assets, and we go our separate ways. Just like that. Just like that. Chris spoke for the first time in a while. For what it is worth, I think you are handling this exactly right. Allie nodded. Me too. Linda looked at her son-in-law with approval. Maybe you are right. Amanda stood up, trembling. Can I at least pack a few things? Of course. Take what you need. She started for the bedroom, then stopped and turned back. I am so sorry. For all of this. I know you are. But sorry does not undo 6 weeks of choices. After she disappeared upstairs, Linda walked over to me. I failed her somehow. As a mother. No, you did not. You raised her with good values. She chose to ignore them. Will you be okay? Yes, I said. I will be fine. And for the first time since this whole mess started, I truly believed it was true. 3 months later, I was sitting in my living room on a Saturday morning, drinking coffee and reading the paper. The same living room where Amanda's family had tried to convince me to take her back. The same couch where she used to curl up to watch movies with me on lazy weekends. But now, it was just my living room. My couch. My peaceful Saturday morning. The divorce papers had been finalized 2 weeks ago. Amanda had signed everything without a fight, likely on the advice of her lawyer who knew she had no ground to stand on. The house remained mine, as did my retirement accounts and most of our assets, since she had brought virtually nothing financial into the marriage. She had moved in with her parents at first, which lasted about 3 weeks before her dad got tired of her constant crying and her mom got tired of making excuses for her to their friends. Last I heard, she was renting a small apartment across town and working at the same job where she had met Derek. Speaking of Derek, that situation had imploded spectacularly. His girlfriend, Tara, had indeed found out about the affair, but not from me. Apparently, Derek had a habit of this kind of behavior, and Tara had been tracking his phone records. Amanda was not his first, just his most recent. Tara had confronted both of them at work, in front of half their department. According to my old colleague Tyler, who still worked there, it was the stuff of legend. Tara had printed out texts, photos, even receipts she had found. Amanda had tried to claim she did not know Derek had a girlfriend, a lie which fell apart when Tara produced evidence of them all being at the same company events together. Derek got fired for creating a hostile work environment. Amanda kept her job, but had apparently become a pariah at the office. No one trusted her anymore, and her supervisor had moved her to another department where she would not interact with people who knew about the scandal. The funniest part? Derek had moved on to another woman within 2 weeks of the blow-up, a bartender he met while drowning his sorrows after losing his job. Amanda had apparently tried to contact him several times, but he had blocked her number. She had gotten exactly what she deserved. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, but I recognized the message style immediately. I know you probably do not want to hear from me, but I wanted you to know I am getting help. I am in therapy, trying to figure out why I made such terrible choices. I do not expect forgiveness, but I wanted you to know I am trying to be a better person. I deleted it without replying. She had tried to reach out a few times over the past months. Text, email, even through her sister Allie once. I had ignored all of it. There was nothing left to say. Allie had apologized for that, by the way. She had called me a month after the divorce to say Amanda had begged her to see if I was willing to talk. I told her she is delusional, Allie had said. You have moved on, and she needs to do the same. Allie was right. I had moved on. Not in the sense of dating anyone new. I was not ready for that yet. But in the sense of building a life that was entirely my own. I had redecorated the house, getting rid of furniture that reminded me of her, buying new things that reflected my taste alone. I had reconnected with friends I had lost touch with during the marriage, guys Amanda had never liked because they were immature or a bad influence. It turned out they were just normal guys who liked watching football and playing poker and talking about things other than home renovation projects and couple social dynamics. I had started working out regularly, going hiking on the weekends, even learned how to cook properly instead of just grilling everything or ordering takeout. I was in the best shape of my life, both physically and mentally. Work was going well, too, without the constant stress of wondering what Amanda was really doing or who she was really with. I had been able to focus completely on my career. I had gotten a promotion last month, with a raise that more than covered the increased expenses of living alone. The house felt bigger without all her stuff in it, but it also felt more peaceful. No more arguments about chores or social obligations, or spending money on things we did not need. No more walking on eggshells around her moods, or trying to decode what she really meant when she said she was fine. Just a quiet, honest, uncomplicated calm. My neighbor, Brian, knocked on the door around noon. Hey, want to grab some lunch? Julie is visiting her sister, and I am sick of my own cooking. Brian had been a good friend through it all. He had never liked Amanda much, saying she seemed high maintenance, but had been too polite to say anything while we were married. After the divorce, he had admitted he always thought I could do better. Sure. Where do you want to go? That new place downtown. Heard they have good burgers. As we walked to his pickup truck, he asked, how are you doing? Really? Good, I said, and I actually meant it. Better than good, actually. Any regrets? About the divorce? None. What about the marriage itself? I have thought about that. I do not regret the marriage. I learned a lot about what I want and what I will not tolerate. And I am grateful it ended when it did, instead of dragging on for years. We rode in a comfortable silence for a moment before he spoke again. You know, Julie's sister has this friend. Not yet, Brian. But thank you. Fair enough. But when you are ready, let me know. Apparently, she is nothing like Amanda. That would be a good start, we laughed. I was grilling dinner on my back deck when I got a call from Linda. I almost did not answer, but curiosity won. Hello, Linda. Hi. I hope I am not bothering you. Not at all. How are you? I am well. I wanted to call and see how you were doing. I am doing great. Thanks for asking. Good. I am glad to hear it. She paused. I also wanted to apologize again for how things ended and for trying to pressure you into taking her back. You were trying to protect your daughter. I get that. I was. But you were right about everything. Amanda made her choices, and you deserved better than what she gave you. How is she? Honestly, not great. She is struggling with the consequences of what she did. But that is not your problem anymore. No, it is not. I just wanted you to know that her father and I think you handled everything with more grace than she deserved. You could have made things much worse for her, and you did not. I did not want to make things worse. I just wanted them to end. Well, they did. And I hope you find happiness with someone who appreciates what a good man you are. After we hung up, I stood on my deck, looking out at my yard, my neighborhood, my life. It was all exactly as I wanted it. Amanda had texted me at 4 in the morning, thinking she could manipulate the situation, control the narrative, minimize the fallout. She had gambled that I would be too hurt or too desperate to actually follow through with ending our marriage. She had been wrong about everything. The best decision I ever made was sending that text. No need to explain. Stay with him. You are single now. Because it turned out that being single was exactly what I needed. And for the first time in years, I was genuinely, completely, undeniably happy. Comment. I wanted to take a moment to share what this story left me thinking about. For me, the biggest takeaway is how important it is to value your own self-respect. When someone crosses a line, you have every right to protect your peace. I believe kindness begins with being honest with yourself about what you deserve. Taking responsibility for our own choices is what allows real healing to start. Choosing calm over constant drama has changed how I see my own life. You are worthy of relationships built on trust and mutual effort. Give yourself time to reflect on what truly brings you a sense of safety. Healing isn't linear, but every step you take toward it matters. Thanks for watching, and I hope this reminds you that you have the strength to choose better for yourself. If you like the stories, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.
Thank you for taking the time